So y'all excuse the noise of my oven here. I'm preheating to 350 for about 1.25 cups of whole pecans. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these really quickly to make sure there's no shells, none of the little dark bits that might, happen in between little folds like that. But I'm going to go through these really quickly, make sure there's nothing icky in these. I'm going to lightly bake these 350 for 5 minutes. These have a lot of oil and they will burn pretty darn quick. But halfway through, I'm going to give them a little bit of a stir, continue to bake them for another couple of minutes, and then pull them before I give them a rough chop. And you want to do this before you start on your cookies, because you certainly don't want to add warm toasted nuts to your cookie dough. So this is one of the first steps that I do. And I think, as you can see, I found this isn't a shell, but it's one of those little, very tiny pieces, and it was just, had thankfully fallen in here. But yeah, all it takes is just a little something to either, break a tooth or chip a tooth or become bitter. So I'm going to start my ultimate oatmeal raisin toasted pecan cookies with 2 sticks of butter. Salted, unsalted, whatever you have is totally fine. 2 room temperature eggs, 1 cup of granulated sugar, and 1 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, 2 1/4 teaspoons of vanilla, 1 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour with my leavening agents. And if you don't know, all of this will be in the description box below. But I'm going to start with very, very room temperature butter. I'm going to get it creamed up. Now I have whipped this up. There's no lumps, no bumps, nothing in there. And maybe Santa will bring me a glass mixing bowl. Maybe, we'll see. I'm going to just add my eggs, turn this up until this is smooth and creamy. I'm having to scrape the sides of my mixer, and there's always this little spot right in the bottom. It just a little spot that seems to get mixed, or unmixed, I should say. Kind of just sits there, but I'm going to keep working on this probably for another 5 minutes. I'm going to scrape my bowl, and this looks really, really nice. I'll bring a big spoonful of it up for y'all to see. See, it's not moving. This is a really super stiff dough. So definitely, if you have a stand mixer, I'm not really sure. I have never tried this with, just like a hand mixer, much less by hand. But this makes a very strong, sturdy dough. I'm gonna just give this a little go through. And certainly, if you have any other additional vanilla beans hiding in here, I don't want to let those get away from us. Any other extra egg? Yes, please, go. Like I said, it's a very, very strong. I've got 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to mix my leavening agents, cinnamon, and a little bit of salt. There's no magic to this. It's just basically put it in here. I have 3 cups of old-fashioned oatmeal, not the 5-minute. This is the old-fashioned oatmeal. And here's where it gets really, really, really tough. So I'm really thankful for my mixer. Say that is good, but I'm gonna turn that down for one thing and just give this a push and to try to keep it from, you know, kind of bogging up, because, oh, it definitely will, and you'll find yourself doing this, you know, probably 2 or 3 times. There's no really danger of over mixing this, but I wouldn't go crazy with it. I would just do it enough to where I can see everything is moist and everything is incorporated, because we've mixed it pretty well up until now. And there's that, you know, that little bottom spot there that just doesn't want to seem to cooperate. But I'm going to give this another minute at most, and I'm going to start turning this out and forming my dough up. No, actually, I'm not going to turn this out and form my dough up. What I'm going to do is grab my raisins. Now, you know, it's up to you how little of raisins and nuts that you use in this and how you cut them up. But I'm gonna get those things, and then we can start putting this on a baking sheet. And so I have 1 cup of raisins. I can get those. And really just a very quick incorporation into it. And that looks pretty good. I think that you can see here, I've lowered my bowl. This is a really very thick dough, and I haven't even put the pecans in yet. But this is how I cut my pecans. You do not have to add pecans if you don't want to. You could use walnuts if you wanted to. And the same goes for walnuts with roasting them. Just give them a couple of minutes. That's really all they need. I didn't add any salt, oil, butter, nothing to these. These are just roasted. If you want them cut smaller, that would be good. But for me and my crew, it's all good. But, and you know, and this is one of the things that I feel that makes this, the taste and the texture of this cookie exceptionally good, because you have a toasted nut going into a very sweet dough, and it does kind of temper it down to where it's not so crazy sweet with the, you know, with the raisins and the sugar and the butter. This really makes a huge difference. So we're just going to just unceremoniously put that in there and just, you know, see if this will even turn. Wow. And there we go. I'm going to clean up my mess here, start forming these up, and let's see how many cookies this dough will make. So I've got these divided up. I've got some smaller ones here, and I actually did form up some larger ones that's like a regular ice cream scoop. But the smaller ones, I came up with a total of 39, and I have 4 of the larger ones. I'm going to bake these, the smaller ones, 350, 12 minutes, maybe a little bit more. You want them to hit just a really light golden brown. I am going to bake off a couple of the larger ones, probably 12, 15 minutes. Again, this is just one of those things that you have to see how brown they get. But without further ado, let's get to baking. And here we are. The smaller ones went about 13, 14 minutes. And of course, the larger ones, these came out really very, very nicely. But this, I just want to take this and let's see how this, see what the bottom looks like. It's not too overly dark. And there we go. These, I know these are delicious. You are going to love them. If you like oatmeal cookies, you're gonna love these. I hope that you give these a try, and I want to thank y'all for joining me here home at the Hollow. Goodbye, y'all.